One Shannon Partner, owned by James Woodward, Molly Bush, and Brett Merkel, driven by Brett Merkel. 2 is Bunny Scoop, owned and driven by Debbie Day. 3 is Clapstick, leased by Jeff Cornett. Reinsman is John Collins. 4 Golden Delivery, owned by Jeff Gibson. Mike Wilder will be aboard. 5 is Sleekwalker, owned with the White Creek Stable. In the bike, Dave Hawk. 6 Mr. Godiva, owned by driver Ron Carbone. Harness Stable Growth Incorporated, Mercedes and Lab Consultants. 7 Alert Bart, owned by Glenn and Barbara Bottoms with Josh Whitelow. 8 is Briggs Z, owned by Ken Briggs and Mark Collier, Randy Tharps. 9 Storm and Pass, owned by Steve Morningstar, along with the driver Elliot Deaton, and 10 is Nardi Jeff, owned by Richard and Peggy Payne. Jim Daly will be in the sulky. That is the field for tonight's first race. No changes in the Daily Double. Post time in less than 5 minutes. Starting gate is underway. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. 9 was off stride before the start. Storm and Pass taking the lead from between horses. Bunny Scoot driving up on the outside. Golden Delivery on the move. On the far outside, Mr. Godiva attacking from third. Shannon Partner gets away fourth. Around the top turn, Nardi Jeff is into fifth as they move to the quarter-mile pole. Sleekwalkers parked on the outside toward the rail. Clapstick. Gap of 3 to Alert Bart, Briggs E, and Storm and Pass will come from 10th and last. Flying by the opening quarter, 27-3. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Driving up on the outside, here comes Shannon Partner to get the lead. Shannon Partner on top, a length and a half. Golden Delivery is in the second. Here comes the newcomer, Bunny Scoot, moving up on the outside third. Back on the attack, Mr. Godiva, live cover to fourth. Nardi Jeff set sail from the rail from fifth. After that, it's Sleekwalker in sixth. Clapstick is seventh. Between horses, Alert Bart, Briggs E, and Storm and Pass the tailgate. They're at the half in a quick 56-3. They're down the back stretch. Action galore here in the opener. Bunny Scoot on the outside now gets the lead. Shannon Partner gives way second. Mr. Godiva moving up on the outside steadily from third. Earplugs are out on him. Golden Delivery shuffle back into fourth. Nardi Jeff on the far outside fifth. Racing by 3/4 in 125. Around the far turn, Debbie Day has got the top, and Bunny Scoot is finding this journey hair-raising right now. Mr. Godiva lets his hair down on the far outside. Fighting back, Shannon Partner, middle of the racetrack. Golden Delivery when we're down to these 4. Mr. Godiva up on the outside. Bunny Scoot holding gamely on the rail. It's Bunny Scoot, Mr. Godiva, Bunny Scoot, Mr. Godiva, and Shannon Partner will hold on third. Here's the unofficial winner of the first 2, Bunny Scoot, a 5-year-old bay gelding by Direct Scooter out of Arriva Bunny. Trained by Dave Klotz. Ran and trained by Debbie Day of Plain City. Covering that mile in 155. Number 2, Bunny Scoot, the winner of the first. 2-6 exacta, $73.40. The trifecta, $219.80. $219.80. Windows are open on tonight's second race. No program changes. Post time 15 minutes away at 7:55. Run down of the first, Shannon Partner third. Bunny Scoot, the winner. Clapstick was eighth. Golden Delivery finished fourth. Sleek Walker seventh. Mr. Godiva second. Alert Bart sixth. Briggsy ninth. Stormin Pass 10th. Nardy Jeff was fifth. The field for tonight's second race. Claiming Pacers in their fourth leg of a series for $6,000. Claiming price $10,001. Dance on Air. Owned by Keith Noble, driven by Brett Merkel. 2 Mr. L, owned by Mark Clark and Randy Tharps. 3 Master Line, owned by John and Victoria Howard with Brad Hanners. 4 Me Woe, owned by Allison Hensler. Bob Harper will be aboard. 5 Devil of a Day, owned by Bruce Roberts, Michelle Strickland, and Howard Murray with Dave Hawk. 6 Fonda Samadhi, owned by David Up and Charlie Neff. 7 Adonijah, owned by Molly Farmer and Joanne Armbruster. Jim Daly will be in the sulky. No changes in the second. 6 minutes till post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Devil of a Day, middle of the racetrack, looked for the lead. Master Line and Mr. Ellen, Dance on Air. They're all out for the lead. And here comes Me Woe to join the slugfest to the turn. Fonda Samadhi and Adonijah quickly found safe haven on the rail. This is a mad scramble to the quarter-mile pole. Me Woe up on the outside. Master Line taking no prisoners right now. Master Line has got the top. Miho looks for the 2-wall. Duck and Tuck. They open up here quick, 27 flat. They're off that top turn and racing past the stands. Here comes Devil of a Day, charging to command on the outside. Devil of a Day now gets the lead. Master Line lets him go second. Me Woe has tucked in there third. Dance on Air fourth. Mr. L fifth. Fonda Samadhi and Adonijah, the tailgate around the clubhouse turn. Heading to the half-mile pole. 3 and a nickel favorites got the top. Devil of a Day with a cult following right now in 57-1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Devil of a Day trying to make it 2 in a row is there. 3 parts of a length. He's now under the Hawkman's whip. Dance on Air waltzes up on the outside second. Sit in the pocket. Master Line in third. Mr. L live cover fourth. Followed by Me Woe in fifth. Fonda Samadhi up on the outside and Adonijah. Hub to hub as they rock and roll by the 3/4-mile pole. Devil of a Day is strong. He puts away Dance on Air by 3/4, a sharp 126. They'll pace the turn and come on home. It's now by 2. Devil of a Day. A little bit closer. Second, Master Line. Mr. L drives up on the far outside third. They're into the stretch. Devil of a Day continues to lead the way. Master Line in the passing lane. Moving up on the outside, Me Woe, Devil of a Day is all in. Devil of a Day and Master Line. Devil of a Day holds on. In the winner's circle is Devil of a Day. 7-year-old bay gelding by Devil's Adversary out of Daydreamin'. Owned by Bruce Roberts, Michelle Strickland, and Howard Murray of Ohio. Trained by Alex Spence Jr. Driven virtually wire to wire tonight by Dave Hawk. Covering around 155-4. 2 in a row for 5, Devil of a Day, the winner of tonight's second race. 2-5 daily double, $34.80, $34.80 on the 2-5 daily double. Windows are now up on tonight's third race. Post time 14 minutes away at 8:14. Howard General, owned by Kevin and Jeff Reed. Dean Collins drives. 2 Blue Ribbon, owned by Joe Sabraco and Don Latore with Jeff out. 3 Roadster Sabra, owned by the Shure Cohen Racing Stable, driven by Del S. Miller. 4 Sandrook, owned by Sandra Teague with Mike Wilder aboard. 5 Fortune on Hold, owned by Herb Miller, Richard Garner, and Don Tracy. Chip Noble in the bike. 6 Direct Zambro, owned by Gene Campbell. Jody Essig drives. 7 Money Battle, owned by Dan Russo and Robert Parker with Dave Hawk. Next is the 8 Casino Cam, owned by Victoria and John Howard and Joanne Nichols with Brad Hanners. Number 9 is Oh Man, owned by Kelvin Lamb. Bobby Arnett will be in the sulky. No changes in the third. 6 minutes till post. Starting gate is underway. Now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Roadster Sabra takes the lead. Direct Zambro is on the move, jumping off stride. Blue Ribbon. They're down the backstretch. Direct Zambro drives to the front. Roadster Sabra moves in to be second. Late Lever, Fortune on hold up on the outside, third. Our General Money Battle ducks in there nicely. After that, it's Sandrook to the turn, followed by Casino Cam, Oh Man, and the Breaker Blue Ribbon. They open up in a lively 27-2. Past the stands, they roll to the half-mile pole. Here comes Our General up on the outside. Direct Zambro along the rail, not even looking over at him. From the outside, it's Our General up to challenge Direct Zambro. Direct Zambro on his game tonight leads the way. Going to be a long half mile for Our General, tucked in there. Third, the Roadster. After that, Fortune on hold. Money Battle sweeps up on the outside. Here comes Casino Cam. Sandrook is seventh. Oh Man is eighth. Far back, Blue Ribbon, 56-1. Moving off the 5/8, heading to 3/4. Direct Zambro, Our General Money Battle moves to the far outside. Roadster Sabra kicks in. Better take a long look at Brad Hanners. He's got Casino Cam under a double, and I mean a double purple Baby Nelson, but they haven't got to the program pick yet. Direct Zambro in 124-3. Around the far turn, Direct Zambro by a nose. Money Battle is in the center. Casino Cam, Fortune on hold, drives up on the far outside. We got a ding-dong battle going here. Casino Cam, Money Battle, Fortune on hold, closing up on the far outside. Casino Cam, Fortune on hold now gets the lead. Third now official. Here comes number 5, Fortune on hold. Fortune on hold is a 3-year-old bay gelding by Noble and Sam out of Dow Jones, owned by trainer Herb Miller, along with Richard Garner and Don Tracy of Ohio. Given a well-judged drive tonight by Chip Noble. To cover that mile here in 153-4. That's a lifetime best. Number 5, Fortune on hold, the winner. 5/8 exacted, 229.60. We have an all in the Superfecta, an all in the Super 5, 8, 7, and anyone else, 27-54-20. 27-54-20. Windows are now up on tonight's fourth race. 695-417-328 on the bottom. The mile was 153. And field for tonight's fourth race, Ohio Sire Stakes, 4- and 5-year-old age pace. This is the third leg, first division, purse $12,500. Scratch number 4, Call Me Nuke Lane. Here's the field of 5. Quintet led by one Meadowland Sam, owned by Tamara Hubler and Mike Metters, driven by Brad Hanners. Number 2 is Tucson Time, owned by Doug Snyder and Dave Slyman, driven by Jeff Fout. 3 is a Tiger, owned by John Morris and Robert Morris, Randy Tharp's arrangement. Number 4 has Ben Scratch 5, Come On Big Guy, owned by Saul Norfless and Jerry Summers and Mike Wilder. 6, Noble Land Court, owned by Richard Smith and James Kovacic. Bill Irvine will be in the sulky. Field for the fourth. Post time in 6 minutes. All lined up. They're on their way as a Tiger takes the lead. Meadowland Sam along the rail. Tucson Time in the third. Come On Big Guy up on the outside. Noble Land Court is the trailer. Quintet drives to the opening quarter-mile pole. Is a Tiger there, a length and a half from Meadowland Sam, who looks like he might come. Tucson Time is getting itchy, gapping now. Come On Big Guy in the trailer is Noble Land Court. As they side wheel by this opening quarter-mile pole, the guys that wanted to come have now had second thoughts. 27-1. Randy Tharps with his head down is bouncing along with Is a Tiger. Is a Tiger is there by 2. Meadowland Sam is stalking second. Prompting from third, Tucson Time. He's coming early. Driving up on the outside, come on, big guy, flushed him for live cover. Noble Land Court still the trailer. Around the clubhouse, turn to the half-mile pole. This will be interesting from here. Is a Tiger, Tucson time on the rim, 55-4. Speeding down the backstretch. Is a Tiger going as fast as he can, leads the way. Meadowland Sam has regained second, Tucson time third. Here's Noble Land Court moving up on the outside. Come on, big guy's got to live up to his name now as they head to the final quarter. Is a Tiger trying to earn his stripes in here, leads the way. He's now opening up just a bit. 1:23-3 around the far turn. Is a Tiger, Tucson time under the whip in second. Meadowland Sam has got some kick. He's got to wait for the passing lane. Bill Irvine comes to the far outside with Noble Land Court. And come on, big guy, they're into the stretch. All over the pace setter, Randy Tharps is a Tiger. Tucson time, passing lane. Meadowland Sam now gets the lead. Meadowland Sam in front. It's now official of the Sire Stakes First Division, 1 Meadowland Sam. 4-year-old bay horse by Noble Land Sam out of Country Deb, owned by Tamara Hubler and Mike Metters of Columbus. Trained by Mike Metters, given a well-judged drive tonight by Brad Hanners. Covering that mile here in 1:52-3 and a lifetime best. Number 1, Meadowland Sam. The winner of the First Lady of Scioto Downs, Mrs. Laverne Hill, in the winner's circle for tonight's 4th race trophy presentation. Top down, Meadowland Sam was the winner. Tucson time second, Is a Tiger third. Call Me Nuke was scratch. Come on, big guy fourth. Noble Land Court was fifth. 1, 2, 3, scratch 4, 5, and the time of the mile was 1:52-3. Over 3,000 in tonight's twin trifecta carryover. No changes in tonight's 5th race. Couple of changes in the 7th race. Race 7, Jack Daly driving 1, Strike Me Fast. Jack Daly driving 1, Strike Me Fast. Scratch number 8, Broadway Clamor. Scratch Broadway Clamor. Post time will be 17 minutes away at 8:56. Here's a field 1, Sterling, Ohio, owned by Crest Farms. Brad Hanners drives. 2, Ellicott Ben, owned by Horner Racing Stables and Jody Essig. 3, Freight Damage, owned by Keith Noble and Brett Merkel. 4, Garusum, leased by Chris McGuire and Randy Tharps. 5, It's Showtime, owned by Al Jan Enterprises with Mike Wilder. 6, Blind Vengeance, owned by Jeff Gibson with Ron Carbone. 7 is Our Black Dart, going tonight for Kane Kaufman and Darren Mauser. Number 8 is Osborne's Gigolo, owned by Bill M. with Dave Hawk. 9, He's Promising, owned by Charles Curran Jr. with Ryan Holton. And number 10, Hornblower, owned by Marlon Smith. Jeff Fout will bring him out of post 10. 5 minutes till post time. 3,000 plus in tonight's twin trifecta carryover. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Garusum takes the lead. It's showtime between horses. Here comes Osborne's Gigolo driving up on the far outside to third. Sterling, Ohio moves in to be fourth out of the second tier. Hornblower to fifth. Followed by Ellicott Ben in sixth, driving up on the outside. He's Promising to seventh. Freight Damage is eighth. Blind Vengeance ninth. Our Black Dart will come from 10th and last. Little bit of confusion here as they move by the opening quarter-mile pole in a quick 27-3 off stride past the stands. That was Mike Wilder, and it's Showtime, who's now racing off the course. Geared down a bit on the front end. I'm Justin Osborne's Gigolo leads the way. Garusum is in the second, moving up on the outside. Hornblower from third. Sterling, Ohio fourth. Around the clubhouse turn. Ellicott Ben is fifth. Moving up on the outside, Blind Vengeance, saving ground along the rail. He's Promising. They're at the half-mile station. Moving up on the outside, Our Black Dart. Freight Damage is ninth, 10th and last at Showtime. They're at the half in 57-2. Down the backstretch, Osborne's Gigolo. Hornblower up on the outside, tries to go on by. Hornblower's now a little bit rough. Hornblower being driven with kid gloves, leads away by a head. Osborne's Gigolo is second. Ellicott Ben driving up on the outside to third. Gerusum is fourth. Sterling, Ohio, far outside. In between horses, Blind Vengeance back to Safe Haven. He's promising. Our Black Dart has got to do more. Freight Damage, and it's showtime by 3/4 and a quick 1:25 Field straightens away. Osborne's Gigolo. Hornblower closing again in the center. Ellicott Ben is driving up on the outside. Passing lane, Gerusum. Ding-dong battle going here. Ellicott Ben and Osborne's Gigolo. And here comes He's Promising, but Ellicott Ben holds on. Comes Ellicott Ben. 8-year-old Chestnut Gelding by Osborne's bred out of Ellicott Jill. Owned in Dayton by the Horner Racing Stables. Trained by Tom Horner Jr. Driven by Jody Essig. Covering the mile in 1:55.2. That's a lifetime best. For number 2, Ellicott Ben, the unofficial winner. Number 9, He's Promising, was second. Finishing third, number 8, Osborne's Gigolo, and 10, Hornblower, was fourth. And continues along. Number 1 is Daddy's Shadow. Owned by Rhonda Stidham, Robert Timmons, and Linda May, driven by Rocky Stidham. 2, King of the Blues, owned by Richard Van Meter, Randy Owens, and Mel Riviello, driven by Ryan Holton. 3 is Full Time Sam, owned by Tim Johnston with Brad Hanners. 4, Pan It Up, owned by Scott Glendon and Mark Gator, driven by Dan Ader. 5 is Castleton Ace, owned by the S Squared Stable, Komorowski, Nielsen, and Granger with Bill Irvine. 6, KL Sharpshooter, owned by Tony Weir, driven by Jeff Fout. And number 7 is JW Stanley, owned by JCB Associates. Ron Carbone will be in the sulky. Field for the 6th exact and trifecta wagering. Starting gate is underway. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Castleton Ace between horses. There goes J.W. Stanley rushing up on the far outside, and Daddy's Shadow along the rail. They're down the backstretch. King of the Blues moves in to be fourth, followed by Full Time Sam. Off the pace, Pan It Up. KL Sharpshooter is the trailer. Pretty good clip here in the first 1/8 of a mile. The favorite has grabbed the racetrack from the outside. J.W. Stanley, Castleton Ace, stung them pretty good. 27 flat. Past the stands they roll. To the half-mile pole, seating arrangements are complete, and J.W. Stanley continues to show his heels to the field. Castleton Ace will stalk from second, prompting third, Daddy's Shadow. King of the Blues has not left the building yet from fourth. Setting sail from the back of the pack, Pan It Up and KL Sharpshooter. Getting caught in along the rail, Full Time Sam. A little bit of confusion at the back as Pan It Up has jumped off stride. They're at the half, 57-2. J.W. Stanley trying to make every pole winning one, leads the way. Castleton Ace on his heels in second. King of the Blues sets sail from the rail and swings up on the outside. Down the backstretch, Daddy's Shadow, Full Time Sam, the Sharpshooter, and Pan It Up. Speeding now to 3/4. The favorite has really picked up the tempo. J.W. Stanley in cruise control leads the way. Castleton Ace, the main danger now in 1:25.4. Around the far turn, J.W. Stanley a length and a half. Bill Irvine ready to exit the pocket with Castleton Ace. Dropping out of it now, King of the Blues. Off the turn, in the stretch, and they're on their way home. Ron Carbone sets down the odds-on favorite. J.W. Stanley's now going away. J.W. Stanley, Castleton Ace. J.W. Stanley in front. Here's the unofficial winner. 7, J.W. Stanley. The streak continues, 6 in a row. 5-year-old based son of Farmstead's fame out of Niet. Owned in Bethel, Pennsylvania by JBC Associates. Trained by Mike Pallone. Driven coast to coast by Ron Carbone. Covering the mile here in 1:53.3 and a lifetime best. Number 7, J.W. Stanley, the unofficial winner of the 6th. Race. Twin trifecta exchange, exact on a regular try, and here's the 1. Strike Me Fast for Charlie Conrad. Driver change to Jack Daly. 2, U.S. News, owned by Chet Debris and driven by Darren Mauser. Number 3, Captain Smitty, owned by Sean Howell. Roy Thacker, driven by Jody Essig. 4, Let the Big Horse Roll, owned by Scott Murphy. John Collins will be aboard. Number 5 is Town Charlie, owned by David Klein and John Milam, driven by Del S. Miller. 6, TNT Hanover, owned by Mel Rilliello, Randy Owens and Richard Van Meter with Ryan Holton. 7, Boyle Elmhurst, owned by Brent Davis and David Hawk. 8, Broadway Clamor has been scratched. 9, TMJ, owned by Scott Mogan. Randy Tharps will be in the sulky. Jack Daly driving the 1, scratch the 8, post time in 6 minutes. Final turn, on their way back to the starting gate. In motion, and there they go. They're off and pacing. Captain Smitty takes the lead. Boyle Elmhurst is up on the outside. TMJ on the far outside. They're down the backstretch. Followed by Strike Me Fast, the gapping third. After that, U.S. News. Let the Big Horse Roll is going to come off the pace here tonight. Town Charlie is next, and after that, it's TNT Hanover. First 3 now begin to get away by the opening quarter-mile pole. Boyle Elmhurst for Dave Hawk has got the lead, 27 flat. They're off that top turn and racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Boyle Elmhurst on top, a length and a half. Captain Smitty is in there second. TMJ under confident handling third. Strike Me Fast closing to fourth. Up on the outside, Let the Big Horse Roll from fifth. Around the clubhouse turn, that's U.S. News. Starting up on the outside, TNT Hanover. And the trailer is Town Charlie. Pretty well bunched now. They're at the half-mile pole. Boyle Elmhurst continues to lead the way. Captain Smitty still on deck in second. Let the Big Horse Roll. Charging up on the outside, third. TMJ got locked in there fourth. Followed up on the outside, TNT Hanover fifth. Strike Me Fast. Town Charlie on the trailer is all the news. That's fit to print. Hub to hub is a race by 3/4. Boyle Elmhurst continues to lead the way. Let the Big Horse Roll, flattening out a bit toward the rail. Captain Smitty. TMJ waits for the passing lane in 1:27.1. Around the far turn to the head of the stretch. Boyle Elmhurst the length in 3/4. Captain Smitty in second. Let the Big Horse Roll third. TMJ is fourth, racing through the stretch. It's Boyle Elmhurst. TMJ is closing 100 along the rail. Captain Smitty is in the center. Boyle Elmhurst tight for second. Fourth, here comes Dave Hawk in Boyle Elmhurst, an 8-year-old bay gelding by Log out of Barrel Elmhurst. Owned in Zanesville by Brent Davis, trained by Armac Davis, driven tonight by Dave Hawk. Covering that mile here in 1:56, 7 Boyle Elmhurst, the winner of tonight's 7th race. Double tonight for Dave Hawk. 2 tonight for Dave Hawk. He had the 4-bagger last night. $7.9 exacta, 72.40, 72.40. Monday's twin try carryover, 68.91. To the post. Number 1, Noble Chairman, owned by Molly Farmer and Joanne Armbruster, driven by Del S. Miller. 2, Diamond Crest, now owned by Rhonda Stidham, Linda May, and Robert Timmons with Rocky Stidham. 3, Tucson Corey, owned by Ken Summer, Mike Wilder, the reinsman. 4, Southern Spirit, owned by Chester All. Jeff Fout will be aboard. 5, Little Guy Colby, owned by Keith and Donna Ross and Bob Harper. Number 6 is I'm Steven, owned by Charles Brennigan, driven tonight by Randy Tharps. 7 is Swango. Leased by Albert Van Schleek, driven by Jody Yessig. 8 is Daring Lie, owned by Howard Taylor, Marion Bruce Walls. Dave Hawk will be in the sulky. Field for the 8th, 5 minutes till post. Field for it is at the gate. Starting gate is underway. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Noble Chairman takes the lead between horses Diamond Crest, middle of the racetrack, Tucson Corey. I'm Steven, 4 deep to the first turn. Southern Spirit gets away in 5th. After that, Swango up on the outside, Daring Lie. And the trailer is Little Guy. Colby, they're on their way to the quarter-mile pole. Tucson Corey, I'm Steven. He's getting tortured right now as they open up here, 27-2. Past the stand to the half-mile pole. I'm Steven driving up on the outside now. Getfully well parked to the 3/8. I'm Steven leads the way. Tucson Corey second. Diamond Crest to third. Noble Chairman fourth. Southern Spirit rolls up on the outside. Swango is underway. Little Guy Colby got doubled up and up on the outside. Daring Lie around the paddock turn of the half-mile pole. Southern Spirit is up to challenge. I'm Steven. They're at the half in 58. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. I'm Steven is there by a neck. Southern Spirit right alongside in second. Nowhere to go. Tucson Corey third. Swango being carted up on the rim fourth. Followed by Diamond Crest in fifth. Daring Lie on the outside. Noble Chairman and Little Guy Colby, they're hub to hub as they race by 3/4. I'm Steven continues to lead the way. Racing by 3/4 in 1:25-4. Moving around the far turn, I'm Steven for Randy Tharps has some daylight. I'm Steven on top. Back on the attack, Tucson Corey. Southern Spirit gives way in the center. Diamond Crest looks to shake loose. They're into the stretch. I'm Steven leads the way. Followed by Tucson Corey. Passing lane, Diamond Crest. Deep stretch. I'm Steven. All in is going to last. Tucson Corey, Southern Spirit came back for third. Steven, 3-year-old bay colt by Johnny Scooter out of I'm Sentimental. Owned and trained in Jamestown by Charles Brannigan. Driven tonight coast to coast by Randy Tharps. Covering them out here in 1:54-2. Please hold all tickets as the inquiry sign is up on the infield board. Six Cinder Lane Sam, owned by Charles Miller. Dave Hawk will be in the sulky. Field for the 9th. Post time in less than 6 minutes. Once again, the 1 should be the morning line favorite at 5-2. Magic Warrior, KG Jake, Noble Sam, Give Him 6, Noble Ho, and Cinder Lane Sam. As the field for race 9 moves in behind starter John Betts, it is post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Noble Ho on the far outside. KG Jake between horses. Magic Warrior quickly on the rail. They're down the backstretch. Noble Sam, Give Him 6 in the center. Cinder Lane Sam is up on the far outside. We have 2 groups going at it right now. KG Jake in the center. Magic Warrior on the rail. Jody Essex says, take a seat, boys. Getting out left for the 2-hole, KG Jake and Dan Ader tucks in there with Noble Ho, 26-3. Light it up, boys, past the stand to the half-mile pole. Magic Warriors got the top, moving from the back. Here comes the hard-hitting campaigner, Cinder Lane Sam. Noble Ho after that, KG Jake shuffled to 4th. Noble Sam in 5th, Give Him 6th is the trailer. No respite here around the clubhouse, turn to the half-mile pole. 3 in, 3 out. Magic Warrior continues to lead the way. Pressing the issue from the outside, Cinder Lane Sam, they're at the half in 57. Straining out for their long journey down the backstretch. Bouncing right along 3 parts of a length, Magic Warrior At his wheel disc in second, Cinder Lane Sam. Noble Ho will now have to wait for the passing lane from third. Noble Sam is up on the outside. Toward the rail, KG Jake and give him 6. Double Decker now in the Rio racing begins as a side wheel by 3/4. Magic Warrior by a head bob. Right alongside in second, Cinder Lane Sam. 125 and 2. They'll pace the turn and come on home. Magic Warrior digs down deep. Right alongside in second, Cinder Lane Sam. Pocket sitter Noble Ho. KG Jake. Give him 6 is up on the outside. Noble Sam on the far outside. Cinder Lane Sam and Magic Warrior give him 6 the passing lane. Head bob decides it. Cinder Lane Sam is now getting up. Back to the winner's circle, please. Barry Conrad and Craig Walters to please join Mrs. Hill in the winner's circle. Here comes the winner of tonight's 9th race. Cinder Lane Sam, 5-year-old bay gelding by Noble Land Sam out of Bye Bye Irma. Owned in Napoleon, Ohio by Charles W. Miller, trained by Max Shaw. Hard driven tonight by Dave Hawk. Covering the mile here in 153 and 3. Winner of almost $600,000, number 6, Cinder Lane Sam, the winner. The 6-1 exacta, $38.80, $38.80. The try, 155.20, 155.20. Post time in 12 minutes at 10:46. Quick post here, 12 minutes away at 10:46. Top down in the 9th as Mrs. Hill meets and greets Dave Hawk and Cinder Lane Sam. 3 tonight for Dave Hawk and Fuego. Magic Warrior 2nd, KG Jake 3rd, Noble Sam 5th. Give him 6 4th, Noble Ho 6th, and Cinder Lane Sam the winner. 2:35, 4:61, and the mile was 153 and 3. Post time in 12 minutes, no changes on the balance of the card. At Folk, driven by Jeff Fout. 2, Greystone Paycheck, owned by Jeff Gibson and David Decker. Rangeman is Ron Carbone. 3, Bye Bye Sydney, owned by Gary Mullins, and the driver is Jim Daly. 4, Such a Fuss, owned by Alex Spence Jr. and Dave Hawk. 5 is Dozier Hanover, owned by Paul Humphrey and Bob Lowry, and the bike Brad Hanners. 6, Keep on Truckin' Sam, owned by Charles Autry with Jody Essig. 7 is Vesta's Venture, owned by Robert Sherritts, Mark Rismore. Mark Rismore drives. And number 8 is Kruger, owned by FLG Partnership. Randy Tharps will be in the sulky. Just 5 minutes till post. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Behold and Such a Fuss are out for the lead. Driving up on the far outside. Dozier Hanover further out. Vesta's Venture. They're down the backstretch. Greystone Paycheck, Bye Bye Sydney, Keep on Truckin' Sam, and Hardy Kruger. Quarter pole bound. Such a Fuss and Behold committing Harry Carey for the top. Gap of 5 into Dozier Hanover up on the outside. Vesta's Venture. Jeff out got the top. Behold 26 and 4. Speeding past the stands, he made Dave Hawk take back to the pocket. We're back on the front end. Behold with a short-lived lead. Dozier Hanover up on the outside, brushes to the front. Dozier Hanover moves away by 2. Behold lets him go from second, moving up on the outside. Greystone Paycheck to third. Around the clubhouse turn, Such a Fuss to fourth. Bye Bye Sydney being carted up on the outside. After that, it's Vesta's Venture, Keep on Truckin' Sam. And Kruger, they're at the half in 56 and 3. Down the back stretch, they roll to the three-quarter pole. 7 to a nickel favorite. Dozier Hanover bouncing along with an easy 2-length advantage. Behold the pocket sitter in second. Greystone Paycheck Motors up on the outside third. Such a Fuss to fourth. Bye-bye Sydney. Back of the pack Kruger. Nowhere to go. Keep on trucking. Salmon Vesta's Venture. Pretty well grouped. This field of 8 rolls by 3/4 in 1. 25 and 4. They're going to pace the turn and come on home. Dozier Hanover, Greystone Paycheck on the outside. Still moving from the back of the pack. Kruger saying, I know this thing will fly. Inside the final 1/8 of a mile. Dozier Hanover now gets away. Dozier Hanover, Greystone Paycheck is still coming, trying to cash a big stub. 70 yards to go. Greystone Paycheck now gets the lead. 258 try, 494.60. Here's Ron Carbone and a double for him with 2 Greystone Paycheck. 6-year-old bay gelding by Happy Paysack out of Greystone Shannon. Owned in Tennessee and Georgia by Jeff Gibson and David Decker. Trained by Greg Luther. Driven tonight by Ron Carbone. Covering that mile here in 1:54 and 3. Number 2 Greystone Paycheck and a double for Ron Carbone. Here's a field for race 11, sponsored by Budget Car and Truck Rental. $12,000 invitational. Can't forget about the older guys. Number 1 is Fantastic Frisky, owned by Kermit Buddy Travis, driven by Del S. Miller. 2, Rosemont Scholar, owned by Andrew Phillips with Rodney Connor. 3, Travis Hanover, owned by the White Creek Stable, driven by Dave Hawk. Number 4, Shining Sam, owned by James Cancer, driven by Bobby Arnett. And number 5 is Matt Tropolis, owned by Ralph Conley Jr. Brad Hanners will be in the sulky. Field for race 11, start of the final pick 3. 5 minutes till post time. Note, Fantastic Frisky for Del S. Miller. Rosemont Scholar and Rodney Connor 3. Travis Hanover, driven by Dave Hawk 4. Shining Sam and Bobby Arnett in the 4 to 5 favorite right now. His Metropolis 4. Team Morgan. Brad Hanners will be in the sulky. Start of the final pick 3, sponsored by Budget Car and Rental. They're moving through the clubhouse turn. Horses and drivers are now in the hands of the starter, John Betts. It is post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Metropolis on the far outside between horses. Rosemont Scholar, Fantastic Frisky, the rail. Middle of the racetrack, Travis Hanover up on the outside. Shining Sam down the back stretch to the turn. Metropolis has got the top. Rosemont Scholar got out left. He's going to try to chase him down. Fantastic Frisky is setting the pocket in third. After that, Travis Hanover fourth and Shining Sam. This is a strange one now by the quarter and 27 flat. Metropolis figured to have an easy lead in here. Not so. Rodney Connor's got the Rosemont Scholar driving up on the outside second. The Roan looks to get a good journey in third. Fantastic Frisky. Travis Hanover is fourth. Here comes Shining Sam up on the outside, and the earplugs are already pulled on Rosemont Scholar. Rosemont and Metropolis heads apart for command, and folks, the sparks are flying right now. Watch this teletimer. 54 and 3. Out of the turn and down the backstretch. Metropolis has now faced and met almost every challenge. Up on the outside, Rosemont Scholar. The Roan is fighting back along the rail. Fantastic Frisky. Shining Sam comes to the outside. Travis Hanover doubled up, needs racing room. Metropolis, though, puts away the pressure from Rosemont Scholar. Shaking free, Fantastic Frisky. Moving by 3/4, 123 and 1. Flying around the far turn. Metropolis has got the top. Travis Hanover comes to the outside. No excuse tonight, Travis. Fantastic Frisky. Game is now third along the rail. Shining Sam is up on the outside. They're into the stretch. Metropolis being set down for the drive has jumped off stride. Metropolis has got broken equipment through the stretch. Travis Hanover now gets the lead. It's Travis Hanover, Fantastic Frisky, and Shining Sam third. Result of race 11 is now official. Here comes Travis Hanover. 6-year-old brown horse by Albatross out of Trini, Hanover. Over the White Creek stable of Palm Beach Garden, Florida, trained by Ron Potter. Driven tonight by Dave Hawk to a lifetime best of 152-3. Number 3, Travis Hanover, the winner, and that's a 4-bagger back-to-back nights for Dave Hawk. 3-1 exacta, $77.20. The try, $381 even. No changes in tonight's final 2 races. However, please note when the crowd comes across the screen, it is now Larry 2 and Robin nothing. Post time in 14 minutes at 11:22. Owned by Doug Parker, Harry Berger, and Craig Parker, driven by Darren Mauser. Number 2 is Bannock, owned by driver Dean Collins and Diane Elliott. 3, Matt Can Do, owned by Sam Noble Jr., driven by Jim Daly. Number 4 is Samarama, owned by Marianne George and the Do You Mind If I Dance With Your Date stable. Mike Wilder will be aboard. Number 5 is Bud's Victory, owned by Terry Gillen and Dave Hawk in the bike. 6 is Buckeye Cy, owned by David Bainter and Brad Henners. 7 is End Zone Goal, owned by Richard Smith with Bill Irvine. And number 8 is The Bread Box, owned by Clarence and Rhonda Gillum. Ralph Leo Grande will be in the sulky. That is the field for tonight's 12th race. Post time in 6 minutes. Through the clubhouse turn. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Bannock is off stride before the start. Bud's Victory for Dave Hawk takes the lead. Down the backstretch, Lord Tinsel is in the second, followed up on the outside by Matt Can Do and Samarama. After that comes Buckeye Cy, End Zone Goal, Bread Box, far back, Bannock. They're on their way to the opening quarter-mile pole. Here comes Matt Can Do charging to the top. Matt Can Do up on the outside, takes over from Bud's Victory and Lord Tinsel. By the opening quarter here, 27-4. They're off that top turn and racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Driving away on top, it's Matt Can Do by 2. Bud's Victory in second, Lord Tinsel third. Samarama is fourth. After that, it's Buckeye Cy, End Zone Goal. Bread Box, the trailer. Bannock's got a dozen to make up. Around the clubhouse turn to the half-mile pole. Matt Can Do with a soft middle half. Up top, it's still Matt Can Do. He gets them past the half in 57. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Matt Can Do bouncing along. Bud's Victory second. Lord Tinsel third. Samarama skimming the pylons in fourth. Buckeye Cy ranging up on the outside, looming boldly, End Zone Goal. After that, Bread Box and Bannock, whose break cost him dearly. They're into 3/4. Matt Can Do continues to lead. Bud's Victory stalking, prompting third. Lord Tinsel up on the outside. Buckeye Cy and Samarama, 125-3. Field moves to the head of the stretch. Matt Can Do begins to inch clear slightly. Matt Can Do, Bud's Victory off the rail. Lord Tinsel, Samarama comes to the far outside. Matt Can Do has the lead. Samarama charging up on the far outside with Lord Tinsel, but they're all too late. Matt Can Do, Bud's Victory second, and the one Lord Tinsel third. We're now up and on tonight's 13th and final race. Final leg of the pick 3, Superfecta and Exacta. We'll set a post here in just a second. 3-5 Exacta, $24 even. The trifecta, $73.80. Final post in 16 minutes at 11:42. Winner number 1 is French Falcon, owned by Kerry Costa and Mitchell Jaffe, driven by Rodney Connor. Number 2, Crown Time Stoney, owned by Esther Crownover, driven by Dan Ader. 3, Armbro Nate, owned by Robert Deal with Jeff Fout. Here comes the 4, Kicking the Pans, owned by driver Ron Carbone. Harness Stable Growth Incorporated, M. Macedi and Lab Consultants. 5, Polaris Parkway, owned by Florence Lenahan. Del S. Miller will be in the bike. 6 will be next, Alexi, owned by Jeffrey and Kevin Reed. Dean Collins. Number 7 is Keystone Reno, owned by Robert Henry with Justin Hall. 8, Parkham Mark, owned by Jerome Grogan with Mike Wilder. 9, EJ's Thunder, owned by Richard Smith and Bill Irvine. 10, DL Sam, owned by Charles Autry. Jody Essig will be in the sulky. Field for tonight's 13th and final race. Superfecta wagering 6 minutes till post time. And there they go. They're often pacing from between horses, Kicking the Pans. Alexi. There goes Parkham Mark driving up on the far outside. Crown Time Stoney is on the rail. They're down the backstretch. French Falcon out of the second tier. DL Sam, Armbro Nate. Ranging up on the outside, Polaris Parkway, Keystone Reno, and EJ's Thunder. As they move to the quarter-mile pole, Parkham Mark on the outside now gets the lead. Parkham Mark, Alexi, Kicking the Pans up on the outside with Crown Time Stoney. 27-3 past the stands. Kicking the Pans on the outside goes on to get the lead. Kicking the Pans on top. Parkham Mark yields to the pocket. French Falcon flies up on the outside. Alexi is 4th. Armbro Nate out and moving from 5th around the clubhouse turn. Polaris Parkway now moves into contention. Crown Time Stoney got shuffled back to 7th. 8th up on the outside as they hit the half-mile pole. Keystone Reno. DL Sam in 9th. EJ's Thunder better clap from here. They're at the half in 57. They're down the backstretch. By 3 parts of a length, it's Kicking the Pans. French Falcon is up on the outside. Fighting back on the rail, Parkham Mark to 3rd. Armbro Nate 4th with live cover. Alexi on the extreme outside. Keystone Reno as they race by 3/4. Pacing by there in 1:25-2 around the far turn. Kicking the Pans, French Falcon on the outside. Parkham Mark looks for the passing lane. On the extreme outside comes Keystone Reno and Armbro Nate. Off the turn, in the stretch, they're on their way home. Kicking the Pans is all in. Parkham Mark waiting for the passing lane between horses. French Falcon. Armbro Nate is up on the far outside. Deep stretch. Armbro Nate, French Falcon. Here comes Armbro Nate to get it. Little ballad of Armbro Invite. Owned in Chillicothe by Robert Deal. Trained by Jerry Kutchback. Driven tonight by Jeff Fout. Covering them out in 154-4. Number 3, Armbro Nate, the unofficial winner. 4, Kicking the Pans, and 8, Parkham Mark are involved in the show photo. 4 and 8 in the show photo. 4, Kicking the Pans was 3rd. 8, Parkham Mark was 4th. $38.60. Good night from Scioto Downs. Thanks a lot.